another session of the Hopry. My name is Starr, and today, well, you know what? I decided to go ahead and come back to the kitchen. You know, I had a really good time the other day recording a couple episodes, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it again. Today, though, I am going to review a beer somewhat similar to one I've reviewed in the past, the Golden Draak, which I told you reminded me a lot of the Trappist beers. Well, that's what I've got for you today. This is an official Trappist beer. It's by a brewery called Rochefort. It's the Rochefort 10. You know, this is one of those beers that you can find, I think, in just about any state here in America. But it's one that, you know, if you really want to taste what the old world beers tasted like, this is probably the place I would start. This monastery has actually been around since about 1595, I think it is. So you talk about old school. This bad boy right here is way old school. So it also has the traditional Trappist style shaped bottle. And I did want to point out one thing on the label. You probably can't see this here, though I'll try to show you. Down here at the bottom, it's got a little marking that says authentic Trappist product. Now, there are only 7 monasteries in the entire world, and you know, there's, I think, 6 in Belgium and 1 in the Netherlands, but there's only 7 total, and they are the only 7 that can truly claim to be you know, brewed by monks and to be classified as a Trappist beer. So this is one of those 7, and probably one of my favorite, though I am a really big fan of the Orval. You know, maybe I'll try to review that one sometime soon as well. But today, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Rochefort. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it. You know, if it starts to gush like that, you can do what I did. Just run it over to the sink real quick, let it sit for a minute, and let it kind of die down a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here. And now see, it looks like it poured fairly normal. So my guess is that this is probably, you know, an okay beer. There's only one way to find out, and that's to get your nose down into the glass. Okay, so this one doesn't have a funky smell. It really has that, you know, that grape Hubba Bubba bubblegum aroma that you probably heard me talk about before. There's definitely some malt in there. It's a really malty type of beer. I don't really get a whole lot of hops, and I don't think that you normally will in the Trappist beers. But again, definitely get the caramel and the grape bubblegum. There's a slight floral component as well. You know, maybe some lilacs, things of that nature. There's a slight amount of spice in there too. You know, maybe just a touch of nutmeg. There's nothing like cinnamon or allspice or anything like that. I would say probably just a very faint amount of nutmeg. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and taste it, and I'm going to hope that this one tastes. Well, actually, before we do that, why don't you let me go ahead and talk about the color on this one. So the color is, it's a cloudy, dark brown color. There's really no, you know, reddish tint to this. It's not even got the least bit amount of like dark black color. It's pretty much flat brown, and I can't really see through it either. So anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste. Yep, that's spot on. So again, I just want to point out, you know, when you open these beers and they gush like that, that's fine. Now, it's not like I was sitting here dancing with this beer before we started this program. In fact, you know, it's just been sitting in the refrigerator. Probably I've had it 2 or 3 months. So that just kind of gives you an idea. Sometimes these things just do that, but they're just fine. So let me go ahead and smell that again. Definitely getting the bite from the alcohol on this one. This one clocks in right at 11.3%. So that's a pretty strong beer. I do like the bottle size on this one though. I talk about bottle size a lot because, you know, if you're drinking alone and you're drinking beers with a lot of flavor and high alcohol, you really don't need a whole lot. And plus I think it's for me, I prefer to maybe have 2 or 3 different styles in a day rather than, you know, committing to a huge 750 milliliter bottle. So, but yeah, I think this is a really good beer. You know, this is definitely one that if you're just now getting into beer, you should definitely search this beer out. It's going to be a really good starting point for you in terms of what Trappist beers taste like. And if you like this one, again, like I said, there's 7 others. If you go on to Google, and I'll go ahead and put a link down in my review as well to kind of, you know, point you in the right direction, but it'll list all 7 of the Trappist breweries. But lots of caramel, lots of bitter. Really kind of coats your mouth nicely. You know, this is another one of those beers that as you sip it, you know, you really have that flavor just kind of lingering in your mouth. And, you know, I like that. I've said it before, and I just, you know, I don't want a beer that just kind of washes down my mouth and, you know, that's that. If there, you know, there is a time for those sorts of beers. You know, I do like the pale ales, and I'll drink a wit beer or a wheat or, you know, even a lager from time to time. So, but those have their place, and, you know, this is more of a sit down and, you know, hang out and listen to some music type of beer. In fact, of the you know, the roasted malt type of Trappist beers, I would say this is probably my favorite. You heard me mention earlier the Orval. Well, the Orval to me is a completely different beer in and of itself. That one has a more of a saison sort of quality. It's extremely effervescent. In fact, when you pour out the Orval, it has a golden color. And that one has a lot of spices that this one doesn't have. But, you know, of the 2 Trappist beers that are out there, I highly recommend the Rochefort 10, and I also highly recommend the Orval. And like I said, I'll try to review that one soon as well. So just wanted to leave you guys with a question, just because I really want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts. What is your favorite Trappist beer? If you're familiar with them, I'd kind of like to know what your favorite Trappist beer is, how many times you've had it, you know, just maybe share a story with me. Have you been to Belgium? Have you been to one of these monasteries? I'd kind of like to hear your story. So anyway, thanks a lot for coming back again today to the Hopry. You can go to www.thehopry.com or twitter.com/thehopry. And I'll be updating, you know, with some future beers. You can actually see a few of them here that I'd like to share with you. The first one here that I have is Russian River's Consecration. I would say that's probably one of the beers I've had in my collection the longest. I'm really looking forward to that. You know, Russian River, as I've said before, completely solid brewery. The other one over here is the Black Albert Stout by Destroys. I reviewed their Panapot not too long ago, so I'm really anxious to try that one. In fact, I've not had that one yet, so I might look to, you know, review the Black Albert soon. And then finally over here, you know, probably one of the most discussed beers in my family is the Southern Tier Creme Brulee Stout. I'll tell you what, if you like creme brulee, that beer is phenomenal. It tastes exactly like creme brulee. I don't know how they did it, but they nailed it. And, you know, when you can find it, you know, buy 20 of them. That's my motto, because they go quick, and that's it for the year. So anyway, really enjoying this Rochefort 10. I'm going to go ahead and sit here and finish it off and enjoy the rest of my evening. So Thanks again for coming back to the Hopry. My name is Mark Starr, and we'll see you later.